Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to Toastmasters for Professionals. My name is Catherine Opondo, and I am calling in from Malaysia. I appreciate that most of you are coming in from different parts of the world. And this is one of the beautiful, beautiful things about Toastmasters, that we get to hear or connect from all over the globe. Before we begin our meeting, I would like to just give a few housekeeping rules. May we mute our mics so that we do not interrupt the meeting. And if you are using a mobile phone or cell phone, please turn it on silent. But also, I would like to encourage you, our guests, kindly leave your details and contacts in the chat room so that our club officers can always reach out to you to connect to you, but you can also join our guests group, WhatsApp group, so that you always know what's happening at Toastmasters for Professionals. This meeting, I am addressing you as the Sergeant at Arms, but also I happen to be the presiding officer for the club. So my address to you is mixed. It's both the SAA and also both the presiding officer address. Today, our Toastmaster of the day is the indomitable Dr. Stephen Bowie. Dr. Stephen is an acclaimed medical professional and also a philanthropist, in my view. I stand to be corrected. But he's one of the members of the club that inspires us greatly with his stories of transformation and his stories. Every time he opens his mouth to speak, I just can't wait for the waters, the refreshing waters and messages that come out of Dr. Stephen Bowie. His stories, his vision is none other than any other could be a Toastmaster for the day. So I'm likely going to ask you to stretch out your hands, get ready, give him the warmest applause and welcome as he takes us on. Toastmaster of the day, Stephen Bowie, you are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our president, Toastmaster Catherine Opondo. That was a wonderful introduction, and I love to follow that with our theme of the day. Today, we're going to talk about a journey of 1,000 miles that begin with a single step. Now, there's many implications to this theme, and Toastmasters certainly apply to this theme as well. But today, I'd like to focus a little bit on health. And so I will discuss with you guys some stories, some statistics, and some studies that will back this information up so that you guys can be inspired, you guys can be challenged to take that first step. First, I'd like to introduce the role player for our meeting today. And I'd like to introduce our timer of the day, and she will share with us her role. Toastmaster Mary Thomas, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. My role is that of a timer, and for the benefit of guests who are not Toastmasters, what we do during every meeting is to have a timer so that the meeting is in control and starts and ends at the right time. What I'm going to do during the during the different segments is I'll be flashing different cards. You'll be able to see. There's a green card here, which I will flash at 5 minutes for speakers, that is pathway speakers. And for the table topics, it would be flashed at 1 minute. And for the evaluators as well, it would be flashed at 1 minute. And then I'll move on to the yellow virtual background, which will be flashed for the speakers at 6 minutes. For the table topics at 1.5, and for the evaluators at 1.5 as well. Finally, the most important one is the red virtual background, which indicates that you need to wind up and end your repertoire. And you're given another 30 seconds in case you miss the red one. And then you really have to put a final end to your speech. This is all from me. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mary Thomas. And for those who don't know Toastmaster Mary Thomas, she's also a physician that have made a big impact on not only her patients, but to Toastmaster as a whole. And I know I'm looking around the room here, the lives that Mary, you have touched, including my own. You had been instrumental in my transformation as well. So thank you for that. On behalf of Toastmaster, I want to thank you for that as well. And I wanted to introduce our next role player, the all-counter grammarian. And that is no other than our Toastmaster Catherine Opondo. She will also introduce the word of the day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Bowie. My role as our counter today will be to note pause fillers and words that are unnecessarily used during our speech. I will ask you kindly to receive my reports as moments of improvement for us. I also falter, and many times I will hear myself using the pause fillers, but some of them include so, like, and very many of those. So those are the interruptions to our speeches that I will be listening out for. But also my role as grammarian is to introduce to you the word of the day. Our word of the day is peripatetic. Peripatetic means traveling from place to place, in particular working or based in various places for relatively short periods of time. I will give you an example of how it is used, as my own life story is really one that exudes that. As a mother who is constantly experiencing peripatetic changes and travels in different parts of the world, my role is to ensure my children find themselves as stable as possible, or find their compass as stable and become wonderful people. So the other ways that I have shared it is in the chat room. You can look up the ways you can use them. I will encourage you to please use the word of the day. When we learn a new word, we expand our vocabulary and we become better speakers. So let me also remind us that I will be listening out for great use of the English language, and I will take note and give a report at the end of our meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Dr. Stephen.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for introduction of the word of the day. And for those that not familiar with Catherine, I'm amazed of how well she wears so many hats. As today, she wears many hats. You can see it already. And she's not only doing it to this meeting, many other meetings, whenever we need anybody to step up, to fill a role. Many of us here does that, but I've seen Catherine doing that more often than many of us here. So thank you so much for that. Now, before we start our prepared speech section, which today we have 3 of them, I'd like to share with you my journey of transformation in terms of health. Now, typically, I would be wearing a white coat, seeing patients as a physician. But today, as a Toastmaster, I'm wearing a shirt that I'm very proud. This is the first shirt that I received of completing a marathon. Steamtown Marathon in northern Pennsylvania. And I think, Vince, you know exactly where that is. The northern tip of Pennsylvania. Now, my journey started out as a physician that was diagnosed with pre-diabetic. Now, most people would say, you should know better. Guess what? I'm just like any of you out there. We all have very busy life and many different priorities. And especially, I find that medical practitioner in particular, and I've seen many of my colleagues as well, we know how to help people, but it's hard to help ourselves. Because sometimes we know too much knowledge and we say we can get by without doing this, without doing that. And, to tell you the truth, I learned that the hard way. At the beginning of my journey, when I found out that I was diagnosed with prediabetes, I was given a choice of taking a drug or change my lifestyle, because diabetes is a lifestyle disease. And my background as a pharmacist, I was a pharmacist before I went back to school to become a doctor. I know all the side effects of medication. And I said to myself, there's no way I'm going to be that patient that going down that road to take pills for diabetes, and then eventually go into insulin injection. So I'm going to change my life. I'm going to take that first step. And that first step is I will actually start running. Well, just saying that doesn't mean that will happen, right? So I'm just setting small goals. And this is what I recommend for you all, is to set very small goals first. And my goal, because I was relatively active, I play tennis, and I thought I could run a mile. Well, I came to find out that I cannot even run half a mile without panting and stopping, and I felt horrible. I thought I was going to die. So we'll continue this journey in a little bit. Now I'd like to introduce the speech evaluator for our first speaker. So I'd like to invite Toastmaster Guillermo Jaimes to introduce our first speaker, Prashant TK, and his speech and his pathway. Toastmaster Guillermo.
Thank you, Dr. Rui. And hello, everyone. Today I have the privilege of evaluating Toastmaster Prashant. He has a level 2 speech in the visionary communication path. His speech lasts 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Prashant, the King's Speech. The King's Speech, Toastmaster Prashant.
So I'd like to invite Toastmaster Prashant.
Yeah, give me 1 sec. There's a small problem with my camera. If I could have 5 seconds more, please.
Okay. Maybe I'll fill that in with some statistics for everyone.
Yes, thank you. I'll just fix my camera in 5 seconds.
You're good now? Oh, he's fixing it. Okay. Did you know globally, 1 in 4 adults do not meet the global recommendation of physical activities? Here's another fact. People, more than 80%, this is, to me, that's very significant. 80% of the world adolescent population, my children, 80% of them have inefficient physical activities. Now, this is a growing trend because of social media and electronics and things like that. So this is scary to many of us, including myself. We see sicker and sicker people because people are becoming inactive. And okay, so now we can see our Toastmaster Prashant TK. Toastmaster Prashant TK.
In 1930, Prince Albert from England was chosen to ascend the throne as King George VI. But did you know that he actually had a speech impediment? And knowing that the country needed a leader who can communicate effectively, his wife Elizabeth decided to do something about it and hired an Australian actor and a speech therapist called as Lionel Logue. The whole objective for that was Prince Albert to overcome his stammer problems. What happened over the course of the next few years was an extraordinary friendship which developed, an extraordinary bond which developed, and Lionel, as a therapist and a friend, used very unconventional methods to teach the monarch how to speak confidently. Good morning, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. How many of you watched this movie, The King's Speech? Raise of hands, please. If you're not, I would recommend you to watch it because it has a very close connection to what we do on a Toastmasters fraternity. Everything what we do in our lives is about communication, but they are different. Think about it. If you write a poem, they are different. And if you actually write a grocery list, they are different, but we're still communicating very effectively. Today, I'm going to talk about the most basic needs of a human being is how do we effectively communicate. Well, we just heard from the King's Speech a few contexts, right? The most important part is that the king actually never overcame his stammer, but what he did was actually cope with it on a day-to-day basis. They tried different methods to overcome the problem. They understood that it's not a quick fix, but it's a long run problem. They also looked at it from a determination and a confidence problem. And that's exactly as speakers, if we know our limitations, we can actually work towards it. And most importantly, the King's Speech also tells us that our lives are not very different than what King's has. Looks like our problems and their problems are very similar. Similarly, our styles are our own problems. And knowing what our styles are becomes the first more important aspect of it. The moment we do that, effective collaboration, effective communication, effective engagement starts to happen. Now, there are various methods to go and understand how these evaluations can be done. There is MBTI, which is Myers-Briggs Types Indicator. There's Big Five, there's Galen 4, and one of my most favorite styles of assessment of our styles of communication is the DISC model. It basically categorizes the communication or the styles of an individual speaker into 4 different primary methods: dominant, influencer, social, and consciousness. Now, dominant, as the name itself suggests, is more where the speaker or the individual is direct, very result oriented. Influencer is somebody who is inspiring, who's very enthusiastic, very energetic, very engaging with the people. Steady is somebody who is calm, composed, very methodical, very detailed oriented. And the last, consciousness, is the person who is very analytical, very reserved, very accurate, driven with facts and figures, like our Toastmaster of the day, Stephen Bowie. We have to know our different styles and different approaches to this. Let me share you a story. In 2007, when I was living in Manila, I decided to travel to Shanghai and experience the city. It was my first time in China. And I decided to explore the city based on a certain agenda. Now, some of you may know, some of you may not know, I'm actually a vegetarian by birth. So vegetarian food in China, as you know, is quite difficult to operate on. So I had carried some food. But within 3-4 days, my ration started to evaporate quickly because of lack of vegetarian food. And now it was a question of survival for me, not just exploring the city. So I researched. I found an Indian restaurant about 20 kilometers away from where I was situated. I decided to do an adventure. I decided to take the metro. I hopped on, then I got down at the last station and decided to board a taxi. Now, I know that in China, people seldomly speak English. So I had a printout ready with all the destinations and the address out there. I showed it to the taxi driver and said, "This is what I want to go." And he nodded and he started to drive. After about 10-15 minutes of drive, he stopped the car and he indicated, "I have reached the destination." I looked around everywhere, huge buildings, huge constructions, open parks, and I'm nowhere closer to where I'm supposed to be. I'm trying to communicate with the taxi driver and he's trying to communicate back to me. Nothing's working. Language was the barrier. And that day I felt my experiences, my education, my certifications, my background, everything was nullified for a second because I could not communicate with another person. This, my dear friends, is the communication barrier. And there are various different types of barriers which we need to deal with when it comes to communication. Most of my life in my career and my profession, I have been put into very difficult situations. And as a leader, I have to improvise myself on a day-to-day basis. That's a very important and very nice saying by Simon Sinek, which says that great speakers communicate, but great communicators are the leaders. So what matters at the end of the day is how we articulate and how we communicate. If we can put our opinions and suggestions forward, we are able to articulate better, because let me tell you, human beings are the only set of people who can actually do the voiceover, can use the words, can use the sentences. The animals also do in nonverbal gestures, but it's us who has to communicate. So let me ask another question. How many of you done any of the assessments which I just talked about? MBTI, Big Four or the DISC model? Anybody? Okay. So I recently did my assessment using the DISC model. I got my assessment as CID, not the criminal investigation department, but cautious, inspiring, and that's okay. I forgot the D. Okay. What it meant was the three traits which talked about my skills and my traits were: I'm a person who likes to think cautiously, but I'm also inspiring on the other side. It helped me to analyze my styles, and I actually connected that with my natural habitat of communication, which is I'm actually a very analytical driven person. I like to have facts and figures in my information. I like to talk with data and like to use that to my best advantage. The main message of the King's Speech, what we heard as a synopsis, was it was the power of perseverance and overcoming personal challenge. But let me tell you, what's more important is knowing our strengths and limitations so that we know we can work around where we are. And that's where we can achieve greater success of personal and professional lives. Just like having a unique fingerprint, each one of us have our own styles of distinct communication. Make your own King's Speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Prashant TK. That was a wonderful speech, and I love how you start with a story. Now, my audio at the end of your speech, skip for a second, but it missed a very important point that you were trying to make, the CIT. I wrote it down, C for conscious, I for inspiring. I missed the T. I don't know if anybody missed it as well, but if you can repeat that again, the T.
Well, it was CID, sorry.
CID,
D,
okay.
CID.
And the D stand for?
D is for dominant.
Dominant?
Yeah, cautious, dominant, and inspiring.
Conscious, dominant, inspiring. Okay, well, great. Thank you for your speech. Now we come up to our second prepared speech of the day, and I would like to bring our Toastmaster, DeMarie Shai King, to introduce our speaker and the pathway and the level. Our Toastmaster, DeMarie Shai King.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. And Toastmaster Praveen will be speaking from Presentation Mastery, Level 2, and Project 2. And Project 2 is effective body language. He is going to have me watch him very closely and comment on how he moves his hands and that there are no increased amount of movements. And also he wants me to watch how he moves his body from place to place and be able to give him feedback on that. The title of his speech is Where to Next? Where to next? Praveen Medinekar. Praveen Medinekar. Where to next?
Toastmaster Praveen, can you hear us?
Yeah.
You may start.
Yeah. It's okay. My internet is working absolutely well. I was implementing something that I had read. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is common knowledge that our body language affects how others perceive us. For example, if you had seen me outside standing in this way, you may have the impression that I have a dominating personality. It is also common knowledge that our emotions affect our body language. When we are depressed, we slump, and when we are happy, we stand up straight, and smile. It probably is not common knowledge, at least I was not aware of this, that our body language also affects our emotions. So when we stand in this way, that helps us to be relaxed and confident. Do try it out. This is called the somatopsychic response. Has this response helped me? Well, the answer is no. Right now, my anxiety levels when I speak or when I give a speech are quite high. So they override his response. I have been working on it. I have been taking up roles in and outside my home club. Progress is slow because I have been an active Toastmasters for 2.5 years. 1.5 years of which have been online. So earlier, when I used to stand up to speak, or when I used to walk to the stage, I used to start with a defeated mentality. How I make a conscious effort to stand confidently and walk confidently. as of now, after I give a speech, I am exhausted, and I can't even think of giving another speech. Uh, uh, I hope that in not too long a time, I can enjoy speech and say one speech is over, back to next. Only then can I say that the tomatoes psychic response has helped me. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pravin Medinikar. And thank you so much for sharing with us the use of body language and also sharing with us your inspiring speech on overcome challenges. I'm with you when you sharing with me about the challenge you face, and I'm just felt so inspired, and I wish more people will take up and challenge themselves to go to the next step. I really like the title, Where to Next. Now we are on to our third speech of the day, and I'd like to invite our Toastmaster Vince Criniti to introduce our speaker for our third speech, Vandana Deshpande. So Vince Criniti. Vince, your mic is on
I'm
mute.
on mute. I'm on mute. Sorry about that. I was looking at that. I'm like, you know what? Take yourself off mute. Take yourself off mute. But that never happens. Thank you for the reminder. So, where was I at? Vince speech take 2. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Stephen, for introducing myself. So the purpose of this project is for Toastmaster Vandana to reflect on her growth during the completion of an entire path. She completed persuasive, or she's giving a speech from the Persuasive Influence Pathway. Reflect on your path. The title of her speech is My Incredible Journey, which coincides perfectly with Toastmaster Stephen's theme of the meeting. My Incredible Journey, Toastmaster Vandana.
It was during COVID, end of 2020, I joined a Toastmasters club. This was just for networking and to make new friends. And I did have a good time then. But my actual learning or growth began end of 2022 when I decided to charter a club for our company employees. First time Toastmasters, and that was when my incredible journey began. Good evening, good morning, my dear fellow Toastmasters, and a warm welcome to all of you. During the first club, I had already completed level 1. Now let me explain why I chose persuasive influence as my pathway. Now those days, I was listening to Mind Valley session and by Lisa Nicholas, Speak to Inspire. Now she says that there are 4 types of speakers. One is informational, one is second is motivational, inspirational, and last one is transformational. So I was keen on identifying my type of speaking and also if I could aspire to change my type of speaking. And that I thought I could do with this pathway of persuasive influence. So that was why I chose this particular pathway. Now, the growth began, as I said, or my learning actually began when I started or chartered this club and I took the role of president. Now, it takes a village to start the club, to identify the members. There were few members dedicated and as passionate as me who came on board as an ex-com. And that is when my I started my speaking on a very fast track. The reason was I felt if I have to mentor my members who were again first-time Toastmasters, I should be completing my levels. So I put myself on a very fast track and completed my level 5. Now, today, this is my last speech for reflecting my pathway, and I will be completing this pathway. Now, during this particular path, there were several projects like inspire the audience, then how to moderate a panel discussion and PR strategies. All these projects took really a lot of time to understand and to craft a speech and to deliver the speech. How can I forget the high performance leadership project? Now, this project, I really never was not knowing what should I choose for this project. Coincidentally, our district director, she said, why don't you choose a project from your office? And that is when I decided that let me choose this particular project as Doha World Cup project. Now, incidentally, our company is into hospitality and we sell products to hotels. And as you all know, during that particular span of 1 year in Doha, there were a lot of hotels opening. And so we had a good chance to sell most of our products to the hotels. And we really did very well. Our sales figures tripled during that particular year. So it was an excellent project. And I did my 2 speeches and presentations on that particular project and completed my high performance leadership project as well. So here I am now today on my last project of this path. I would like to tell you how did I grow as a leader, number 1, then as a motivator, number 2, and number 3, as a communicator. So let me start by the first point. How did I grow as a leader? Now, we started end of November 2022. So that first term, which ends obviously, as you all know, on 30th of June, our club became a distinguished club. Now, the same ex-com continued even this year, that is 23-24 term, starting 24 July. The same ex-com continued. So I also, for the same term, for the next term also, I became the president. We decided from the beginning, now let us this year win the coveted title of President's Distinguished Club. And we really worked hard. As you all know, success is a byproduct. It's a byproduct of determination. It's a byproduct of perseverance. It is a byproduct of hard work. So we all worked together and we won the President's Distinguished Club. We completed all 10 on 10 DCP points by end of February. And we won several awards in education, as well as club growth awards like Smedley Award, then Top Up Toastmasters, there was April Renewal Platinum Award, and so on. We also released recently our newsletter and have applied for the Excellence Award for this year. So, but now let me also say that winning awards or accolades is not, it's a destination. But in this process of the journey was so beautiful, was so wonderful. It was full of learning for all of us. And that is what we enjoyed a lot. In our club, one one thing right from the beginning, we have a very family-like environment. We party a lot. All of us know families that eat together, party together, they stay together. So we celebrate each and every milestone of our, whether it is small or big. We celebrated the first anniversary of our club when we completed 25 meetings. We went on a 2-hour yacht ride. Then we went on a hike, we had a picnic, and we also celebrated Diwali, we celebrated Iftar. So all this, what this does is it connects the members together. And that is one big reason for our club to be successful. So this is my journey as a leader. Now, every time I give my presidential address, it is not only I'm communicating, but I am communicating my perspective. I am communicating my passion to my members. So this made me learn a lot and grow as a leader during this particular journey. Now, second is, how did I grow as a motivator? Now, to make the members attend the meeting, to make them take the speaking roles, they need to be motivated from time to time. And we have a wonderful program of mentoring, which we call fondly as PET. It is pursuing in excellence together. So what we have done in our club is, we have each one of our ExCom members, we have taken 5 members. We are a total of more than 35 members in our club. So each ExCom member takes 5 members, and then we mentor them, we coach them, we ask them to send their speeches to us, and then after the speech, we give them feedback as well. Now, this mentoring program has really helped all of us. And one of our member recently shared with me that his sales figures have significantly improved. What is the reason for that? So he said the reason is my presentation style has become way better than what it was before. And the credit all goes to the mentoring, and it goes to the feedback which all of you give me from time to time. So it's a beautiful impact that we Toastmasters can do on people's lives, as well, their professional as well as personal lives. And now we also conducted the annual speech contest at the club level, at the area level, and a division contest or debate contest at division level. Now, for participation for the contest also, it is important that our members should be motivated enough to take part or participate in the contest. So here I learned, in this total journey, I learned a lot how to motivate people, how to bring them together, and how to let them connect with each other so that they share the knowledge, and that is how we can grow. We had several workshops also during our outside our club meetings, where we got in the education senior Toastmasters who can give education sessions. And that's how we motivated the members. Now, last but not the least is, how did I grow as a communicator? As a communicator, it's important that to effectively communicate the right message should be, we should be able to deliver the right message. Now, in our after being a Toastmaster, I believe that what I learned the most is how to give constructive feedback. And so I stopped being judgmental. I started giving more and more constructive feedback. This, what we learn in evaluation, it is the sandwich technique. That is what I also try to use it in my staff meetings. We often say that you practice at Toastmasters and then you get the results in the real life. So let me conclude here that mentoring, coaching, and leadership roles, by doing all this, we actually sharpen our skills and we are able to achieve our or realize our full potential. Uh, it's not that I did not have challenges. I did have challenges. There was a time when open house, hardly any guest came. There was a time when very few members were attending the meeting, but we analyzed this and then we moved forward, took some actions and we moved forward. So here I would like to say that every meeting we do or every speech we take, it could be the fear of public speaking, it could be pushing our boundaries out of our comfort zone. With all these things brings you closer and closer to your goals, and in fact it brings out your strength, your determination, your resilience. So this was a growth journey for me, and it has been a wonderful journey. So I would like to take this opportunity to inspire you all to take on more projects, complete your path, and all the best for you for all the speech projects. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vandana, for that wonderful speech. And it is indeed, to me, the completion of a path is like a journey of 1,000 miles. And I'm in the middle of it, and it seems like it's just so long. But thank you for sharing with your reflection that helps me, keeps me going, keep me inspired. And I really enjoy your the three components of being a leader, a motivator, and a communicator. And thanks for that tip, because now I can focus on those items that is to me, very meaningful. So thank you for that great speech. Now, before we introduce our distinguished Toastmaster Noor Mohammed for our table topic, we have a few minutes. I'd like to continue my story or reflection on my journey as well. My journey toward better health. Now, one of the things that I get asked very often, what is the definition of a good, healthy, active lifestyle? And that seems like, healthy, active lifestyle seems like a vague term, but actually the World Health Organization and the American Heart Association actually define this. And if you follow this recommendation, you will be on your way to better health. Now, we always talk about how to optimize our time. We don't have to be out there running marathons or ultra marathons and to be healthy, or doing some crazy Ironman or anything like that. The definition of a healthy, active lifestyle, according to American Heart Association, and the World Health Organization also concur on this, is just 30 minutes a day for 5 days of moderate exercise. And we can certainly, you can look up on the internet on what is the definition of moderate exercise, continuous moderate exercise. And now they actually come out with another version that for those people that don't have a lot of time, they can actually, this will improve your health significantly, just as much as 30 minutes 5 times a week. That's 150 minutes a week. Some people don't have the time to do it 5 times a week. You can actually spend 25 minutes 3 times a week, and to reach at least 75 minutes per week with more vigorous activities. So those are the 2 recommendations by the World Health Organization, American Heart Association. Now back to my story. How's that affecting me? Someone that couldn't run a mile, and I stopped at half a mile and I was gassed and I couldn't continue anymore. Well, I was reminded by in psychology, I believe they call it psychological momentum. And this is something that will help you as well. This is a little tip. In a study back in 2016, Epley and Gilovich did a study and suggest that it is better to start with a small action to create psychological momentum that propel individual toward larger goals. Now, what does this mean? This means that a simple step trigger that progress, create a habit, healthy habit. So that habit will help us achieve small steps that will get us to a bigger goal. Now, I really enjoy the last three speech, and I learned so much from the three prepared speech, but it all has a common theme. That common theme is start small. Just like this king's speech, somebody has a speech impediment or has issue that couldn't speak. How do they get to the point where they deliver an amazing speech? Is because they start small. And I met in my journey, I met a gentleman, the first person with a mental disability to finish an Ironman. Now, Ironman is on the top in the world that people can run, can bike, can swim. And on my interview with him, I asked, how did you able to do all this big feat? And he said, it's the power of 1%. So I want us to recommend you to consider that amazing power of 1%. Start increasing your activity level just 1%. And you'll be amazed after a month, after a year, how much you have improved, and you are not suffering the consequences of somebody starting out too fast, too soon, too early, and end up in my office for injury. And I think now is that time. It's that time for us to introduce our table topic master with no other than our distinguished Toastmaster, Noor Mohammed. So I'd like to bring up our distinguished Toastmaster, Noor Mohammed, for our table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the day, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. A very good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Today, I'll be playing the role of the table topics master, and my role is very simple. I give you a topic, and you speak on a topic for 1 to 2 minutes. How does it help? It helps you in various scenarios. For example, if you're with your boss and your boss asks you a very embarrassing question and you don't know how to respond. Now, this session will help you prepare for such instance. So who is going to be the first table topic speaker? Please raise your hands, and otherwise I have to pick you. And I have to give you a tough topic. All right, James. James is the first speaker who has raised his hand. James, for you, a topic to reflect upon. Great leaders communicate, and great communicators are leaders. What's your take on this? Great leaders communicate, and great communicators are leaders. What's your take on this?
Thank you, Noor, for the question. Great leaders communicate, and communicators are great leaders. I agree with that because I've had leaders who don't communicate. So that leads to me not knowing their vision, their path that they take, which means that I don't have a trust. I don't trust them because, humans like to know the road that they've taken. And so if you don't see the road in which you've gotten yourself into, then you start to lose trust, and you begin to question the person who makes the decisions when things start going sour. So great leaders, they communicate their vision and their mission to you so that you may choose to stick with them or go with another leader. I've done this many times. I mean, I've chosen to stick with a person or to leave a person because they told me their vision, which and that created a trust. So I definitely agree with that statement. Thank you for the topic, and back to you.
Thank you, James. Thank you for that interesting take on the topic. It truly does build trust when your vision is being communicated very clearly. I do agree with that. So the second in line is Dimari. Dimari, your topic is, what is that small thing which changed your life? What is that small thing which changed your life, Dimari?
What small thing changed my life? Can you think back to a time when just one little thing made the difference? I can, and I know what it was. When I became passionate about pathways, I learned that pathways was able to direct me in ways that I never thought I would be able to go. And pathways played a crucial part when I had to develop my DTM project. I simply followed all the competencies in my path, and I was able to set up an international summit on domestic violence, which ended up being my DTM project. And it was phenomenal. I would never have thought to do something in that way of that magnitude had it not been for Pathways. So that one small thing, which is a part of Toastmasters, actually changed the trajectory of my life. I was able to understand that I could pull a group of people together. I could coach the speakers. I even recorded some of the voices of people who thought they might have cold feet and wouldn't be able to speak on the day of the summit. I pre-recorded their voices, so I was prepared in the event that they were not able to speak. But everyone spoke. The summit was supposed to last for an hour, and it lasted for 2 hours and 45 minutes. I literally had to put the people out of the Zoom, which was very difficult to do. Sometimes when we look at what is in front of us, we have no idea where it's going to take us. We have to step out on faith, and we have to be mindful of the fact that if we follow the guidelines in front of us, we can achieve the goal that we've set for ourselves. So that one small thing that changed the trajectory of my life was Pathways and deciding to become a DTM. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Dimari. Thank you for that wonderful take on the topic. I truly love when someone can easily recollect that one small thing which changed the trajectory of your life. So wonderfully done. And Toastmasters is a wonderful thing which actually changed a lot of lives, I believe. So next in line is Arvind. Arvind, your question is, how do you handle your anxiety when you get anxious? How do you handle your anxiety when you get anxious?
How do I handle my anxiety when I get anxious? Very timely, because I experienced this before, and at this point in time, I wouldn't say that I was able to surpass it. But what I'm doing right now is doing the meditation and praying and doing what is necessary to achieve my goal, even though I don't know what lies ahead. But one thing I know is that I have given the talent and the gift, and that gift must be used for a purpose. And for example, joining the Toastmasters, I was able to find myself, to find out who I am, the reason of my being, and then help other people to find their purpose too. And being a good communicator, as a result of consistently attending the Toastmasters meeting, helped me to prepare myself and do the task given to me. And with that, I become busy, and this anxiousness that I was feeling before, all of a sudden are becoming fading away, because I know that whatever happens, in my life, if I do things that I believe the reason why I am created, this anxiety is going away. And I believe that at the outset, if I exit in this world, I have done my part. And that is something that really give me ease. This give me peace because I'm doing my part to help other people for God's glory. And even though I wouldn't become successful in life, because of course it depends, because other people measure success through the material things that they have gathered. But for me, being able to fulfill what I believe a task given to me gives me satisfaction, and it removes the worries and the anxiety. Back to you, Table Topic Master, the DTM Noor.
Thank you, Arvind. Thank you. My father once asked me, what's your purpose in life? I was too young that time to realize the importance of that. But I do now to be useful to others. That's my purpose in life. All right. So I got a message that we can't hear you well. Are you able to hear me clearly? I'm having a problem with the mic. All right. So next in line is Todd. I'll try to be as loud as I can. It's 5 in the morning here. All right. So the next in line is Todd. Todd, your question is, as you reflect on your life, what is that one message you want to convey to us all from your experience? As you reflect on your life, what is that one message you want to convey to us all from your experience? Todd.
So, Mr. Tabletop Master, fellow Toastmasters and friends, it's kind of interesting that you're asking me what do I reflect on, and I'd have to say that's kind of part of my international speech that's that I'm using this year and hoping to use in the next week or two at the district competition, and it's based on the Dash written by Ellis. And basically, the dash is the dash between the date that you're born and the date that you die, and how many people don't actually live to their full potential because, many people die with the music still inside them, if you want to use one of those cliche kind of quotes. I think that people should embrace the opportunity to challenge themselves, to stretch the dash and make it longer and make more things happen in that short space of time. Because, there's two things that are certain. We're going to be born and we're going to die. And hopefully in between, we might even pay taxes. But besides those, what are you going to do with the time? What is the legacy that you're going to leave? What are you going to be known for? Why were you here? As somebody just said, what is your purpose? And all of these things are hopefully a journey. They always say it's the destination. It's not the destination. It's the journey to get there. If you keep thinking about the end goal, you'll spend too much thinking about the end goal and not appreciating what's happening right now. Too many people don't stop and smell those roses, right? It's like, oh, I just got to rush. I just got to rush. I'll do it when I retire. How many people retire and they die because they have nothing else to do? Enjoy life while you still have the energy and the capacity to. So many people say, I'm going to go travel. Go travel now. Because by the time you get to like 60, 65, you might not have the health. You might not have the mobility. You'll definitely be paying more for medical insurance to go. I mean, and you're probably going to have a whole bunch of aches and pains. So enjoy life now while you're young and you're, oblivious to responsibility and all those other great things. Go out and bungee jump. Go out and skydive. So what if the thing doesn't work? Used once, never used, or never opened, whatever. You just got to think about the things that bring you joy. One of my favorite quotes, and I always ask you, like when you go to a competition, what's one of your favorite quotes? One of my favorite quotes is, if it's not fun, why do it? I thought that was unique, and I thought that was mine until I went to a Ben and Jerry's factory in Vermont, and found it plastered on their wall, and they put it there like 2 years before I was born. So I was like, damn it, it's mine. But apparently no. I mean, apparently everything that we can think about has already been created, done. Now you just got to repackage it, refurbish it, and make it your own. Have some fun. And back to you, Mr. Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Todd. I definitely had fun listening to your topic, and how you handle the topic, in fact. Connecting to that topic is my next topic to the speaker. Aman, are you ready? All right. Your topic is,
Yes.
how long do you live in the past and the future when compared to the present? How long do you live in the past and in the future when compared to the present?
Yeah. Okay. So it's a really difficult question for me because for like before 2 days, I was literally thinking about my future, that uh, my exams are coming, so I was not prepared due to there are marriage seasons going on, and I was on vacations for some time, so I didn't completed my course. So that's why I was thinking about my what I'm going to write in my exams, and due to that, I still had time like a week, but I'm still not able to complete these 2 or 3 days. I was just thinking about what I'm going to do, provoking myself that why do you do these things for just a fun? You spend your whole day. So, and tomorrow only I decided to leave all those worry and come into future present. So today I just woke up at 3 a.m. I think, and then I completed my first week of the lectures, and then I went for my exercise, and then I came to join this Toastmaster, because before before previous Wednesday, I was not able to attend due to my like whatever I was doing that time. So yeah, it happens for like in this is you don't able to really think what's you are going to do. So you have to be in present what and only think about what you can do right now. Uh, and and for this also I before going to sleep I decide to leave all the worries. I like if I didn't did my task properly, until like I forgive myself whatever I done, and prepare myself for the next day before going to sleep. So yeah, that's the thing I do.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you. Thank you for joining this meeting with that realization that you got to live in the present.
Yeah, thank you.
And that made you join this meeting. We're very glad that you're here. And I'll pick person timer. How are we doing on the time? I got a couple of questions. Do we have enough time?
You have time for 2 more speakers.
2 more. Fantastic. So I'll pick Tracer. Can I give a question to you? Yeah. Okay. How did empathy empower you? How did empathy empower you?
What a wonderful question to reflect on empathy. I think for me, what I am trying to do is establish empathy not only for other people, but what really changed for me was empathy for myself. It was really hard on myself in a lot of ways and very unforgiving. And that prevented me from trying many things, and it prevented me from showing up in different areas of my life. Like maybe I would be given an opportunity and I would turn it down because I didn't think that I could even, I didn't want to look bad. I didn't want to try. And so I started having more compassion for myself and thinking about how I could actually be a friend and kinder to me. And what that turned into was me having more compassion for other people and seeing their inner dialogue and seeing how their inner dialogue impacted how they showed up in different areas that, you know, might be a little bit of a head scratcher, like, why did they do that? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, oh, but I wonder what their inner dialogue is like. I bet they're not very nice to themselves either. And so that having empathy for myself turned into having empathy for other people in a tremendous way. And honestly, it was life-changing. So thank you so much for the question, Nora. I really appreciate it. Back to you.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. In fact, we rarely understand that we got to be compassionate with ourselves. It's that feeling, how when we get that compassionate feeling towards ourselves, that we grow more compassionate towards others. And that really changes us. Thank you for sharing your story. And I got a last question for who is that who didn't speak till now? Vincent, is that you?
Sure.
What do you do, Vincent? What do you do? Yeah, just it's a simple question in one line. What do you do for a living, or what do you do in general?
Oh, what did I do for learning?
No, what do you do in your life? What do you do in your life?
Oh,
yeah.
No. Someone's coming. Coming in. So.
All right. What do you do for work? What do you do for work?
What did I do for work?
Yeah. What do you do for work? Like, are you an engineer, or are you a doctor, or what are you?
No, I'm just a normal administrator.
All right. So, fantastic. So, why do you do what you do? Why do you do what you do? That's the question.
Why? Or what do I do? Why did I do?
So you're working as somebody, right? So why do you do what you do? Did you get the question, or should I change it?
I think I get the question. Let me think for this.
Yep. Take your time. As Vincent reflects, I request all of you to think about it as well.
Okay, I think I know. Okay, so I try to break down this question. First one. So I try to break down the question. What do I do first? So I'm currently learning a lot of online courses, especially to build the communication skills. As a software engineer, actually. So why do I do this? So of course it's because to improve my knowledge, because working is not just about building hard skills, but also soft skills such as communication, empathy, problem solving. But for me, I think that's too general. That's too generic. I recently got a call from a person who worked at Meta, Facebook, and he said to me, in order to build the communications, you must have to embrace yourself to a dynamic state. Dynamic state means you have to take a lot of uncertainty. It's not just like you have to memorize everything on like what did you do in your school, but but because if you graduate from university, you have to take a job which is a lot of uncertainty. Some things what you not expected will often happen. So yeah, in order to build the communications, you have to build the like dynamic state. That's what it called. And also, it's, and then also you have to take a lot of failure. I know take a lot of failure is general, it's too generic, but he said that the purpose to build to make failure as your habit is like, oh yeah, after you know what to do, you know what you know it's failed, just so be it, and then you just don't think a lot of time for it. Yeah, so in summary, yeah, I try to build my communications wide, and then in order to build what is called dynamic state. That's all.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you. Thank you for that take on the topic. What I loved about the topic was the handling of uncertainty and getting that idea of how you can actually go about life as a software programmer. Right, fantastic.
Yeah.
So most of us, the interesting thing is, if you ask yourself why 5 times, you get to the core of why you're doing it. So you get to interesting answers. Let's say, why are you doing this? This is the answer. Why again? Why again? Why again? 5 times why, you get to see some interesting things. Yeah. With that, I'm truly enriched by all your responses today. I hope all of you have enjoyed the table topic session as much as I did. And with that, I hand over the podium back to Toastmaster of the day. For a moment, I was scared. Where did he go? But he's back. Back to you, Steve.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Noor. And I was a little nervous as well because I had a electric spike that knocked out my computer. And so I had a backup plan on my phone. So I was able to log back in on my phone and continue. So thank you so much. That was very exciting. And I learned a lot from everyone, particularly Todd, with what he was saying about you got to have fun. You know, why do it if you don't have fun? Why do it, right? So before we start our next part, which is another part of the Toastmaster meeting that I learned a lot from, which is the evaluation and the report section. But before that, I'd like to bring up to you and hope that I can inspire you to take that first step into better health by reminding you that try to have that 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week, to be out there, to be active. Now, I like the quote where I heard it somewhere. I was not able to pin down who actually said it first. And the quote is, love what you do, and this applies to healthy activities, and do what you love. And my take on it is, in order for me to go out and to be active or do whatever it is, I have to really like what I do. So my recommendation to you is select physical activities that you enjoy, that you like to do. And then the second part of that is do what you love. Love what you do, and then do what you love. And that really has 2 meanings to it. To me, you got to do what you love, but finding the love in what you do is also important, because sometimes, just like being a physician, there are things that I love what I do to be a doctor, but there are other components that I don't particularly enjoy, like writing notes, doing documentations, but that's part of my job. And I have to learn to love it so I can do my job more effectively. So for you, what I recommend is to find what you love and find a love in what you do so that you can continue doing it. Now I'd like to call upon our evaluators to evaluate our speakers. And the first evaluator for the first speech is our Toastmaster Guillermo James for the first speaker. Guillermo.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bowie. Toastmaster Prashant, I congratulate you for, give me a second, I don't see you.
I'm here.
Oh, thank you. Now I see you. I have speaker mode on Zoom. Okay, so I congratulate you for giving a speech that I really enjoyed. And I think the audience did too. I looked at their faces during your speech and people seemed engaged. So congratulations for that. You had the purpose of telling us about different speaking styles and of identifying your own. And you definitely achieved that. You've probably given this speech and you've probably done this project more than once. I could tell. You gave us examples about speaking styles. For example, dominant or influencer conscious. And you also told us a story which, grounds the facts in a human way. And because just telling statistics doesn't have the same impact. So I really like that you did that. You also had a very strong connection to the audience because you asked questions and you scanned the room for answers, for yes or no or more specific answers. So I thought you had a really strong connection to the audience. You also had fantastic voice modulation. You raised your voice and you lowered it at very adequate times. And I think that makes a speech way more dynamic instead of, a guy just reading off a PowerPoint and it bores people, but you didn't bore people. Now, when you started speaking, I thought, oh no, you speak so well, and I don't just want to praise your speech. So I worked really hard to find areas of improvement, and I found two small ones. So when you joined the meeting, you sat down, and I thought, okay, I want to tell him to stand up, and you did stand up for your speech. Now, still, I think you had some part at the top of the screen which you didn't use. So I recommend that you raise your camera or that you aim it higher. Also, I believe you went a little over time. So just practicing the speech with a timer, and if you get too close constantly to the 7-minute mark, then just cutting a bit of the speech helps with that. But overall, I really, really liked the speech. Thank you for letting me evaluate you. This felt like a huge privilege, and I look forward to hearing you speak again. Thank you, Toastmaster Prashant. And back to you, Toastmaster Bowie.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Guillermo. That was very insightful and detailed evaluation. I really enjoy listening to your evaluation. And now I'd like to call our second evaluator, our distinguished Toastmaster DeMarie Shai King, for our second speaker, DeMarie Shai King.
Thank you, Dr. Bowie. So to Pravin, oh my goodness. I first want to tell you that I was so inspired by your speech. It's rare that someone will stand in front of you and that person or that speaker is totally vulnerable. You were vulnerable throughout your speech. You started out in control because you started out standing. You had your hands on your sides, and then you explained to us why you did that. You did that because it gives you self-confidence and it allows you to relax. So you explained that stance. And I knew that's what I saw but then you told us that, yes, that is why I did it. So the therapeutic activities that you engaged in took us on a journey. You went from here to there, but you wanted us to see and understand that you were fighting and dealing with your own personal challenges in the best way that you saw fit, and that was to face it head on. The things that you did well, as I say, your stance was one of the first things that I noticed. You used the pause very effectively, but I'll have a point to give you on that later. And you had asked me to check out the control of your hands. I actually saw you holding your hands. That controlled them from just flailing around. I thought that was excellent because you wanted to control that. You also asked me to watch how you control your movements, body movements, if there were any erratic, unnecessary movements. And we'll deal with that later, but I did notice that. Your story was heart-wrenching, and I felt compassion for you as you told your story. The fact that you know that you have this problem and you're dealing with it. My suggestions or my stretch goals for you would be to record your speech and do it while looking in the mirror to see exactly what you see as you're giving the speech. And then the other thing that I would like to suggest is when you do pause and you use the pause effectively, take a breath, take a deep breath, and that will allow you to just calm yourself down because you shared with us that you become anxious, even to the point of being exhausted once you finish your speech. Our hearts went out to you. You won us over. I can't wait to hear you give this speech again and implement the suggestions that I've given you, and I am sure you will knock it out of the park. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, DeMarie. That was a wonderful evaluation for an inspiring speech. And your evaluations is also very inspiring because it gives details, recommendation. I really love your feedback. And now I would like to call upon our distinguished Toastmaster, Vince Criniti, to evaluate our third speaker, Vince Criniti.
Thank you, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. So again, Vandana's purpose of the project was to reflect on the growth that she attained through the completion of the entire path. So when it comes to a speech, we all know there's an opening, a body, and a closing. The opening grabs our attention. The body talks to us a little bit about it, and then the closing, which is a call to action. I'm going to go right to the call to action because I am a strong believer that every speech should have a call to action to literally make us do something from your speech. And you did just that. First thing that comes to my mind is Nike, just do it. You went through, and I'll get into your speech a little bit later on, but the first thing that jumped out at me was your call to action, and I loved it. Get outside of your comfort zone. Your passion for Toastmasters is is amazing. You have a passion for Toastmasters, and you want to encourage people to do something that they're not familiar with. This goes back to when you first started Toastmasters. I believe you first started Toastmasters during COVID. You were trying to network. One of the benefits of Toastmasters during COVID is we're obviously on Zoom, so we are able to zoom in and out, similar to how we are right now. You can zoom into all around the countries, and it's a great way to network. And it builds on your speaking skills because you can speak from everywhere. But again, your call to action, get outside the box, just do it. I love that. Take on more projects, do something that you're not familiar with, similar to these pathway projects. I struggle with pathway projects, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There are some projects that I look at, I struggle with, I lose sleep over, I stress over. But with your speech, I am just literally going to take it and do it because at the end of the day, you're going to accomplish that goal and do that pathway. Similar to what you did is you went through all your pathways, you reflected upon them, you learned from them, and you're taking those learned skills into moving forward into your life, whether it's Toastmasters or real life or what have you. Couple polishing points. Oh, real quick before I get into the polishing points, you had mentioned 3 points. I'm also a stickler when someone mentions I have 5 points, I have 10 points, I have so many points. I count them out. 1, 2, 3. And I know Stephen had did the same thing. Leadership, mentorship, and communicator. And you went into detail for each 3 topics. So I loved how you not only talked about them, you mentioned the 3 topics, leadership, mentorship, and communicator, but you also, again, you spoke about them. You said, I have 3 topics. You spoke about those 3 topics and you emphasized them specifically. Out of all 3, I really enjoyed mentorship because I think mentorship can help everyone. We're all seasoned Toastmasters, but we could always use a little mentorship. And for those that are new to Toastmasters, do not hesitate to look for a mentor to help with your speeches. 2 areas that I would like to see. One, I've said this before, stand up. Now, audio could be a problem. I know we all think we have to sit in front of the Zoom box. I'm standing right now. I believe I saw Dr. Stevens standing and moving around a little bit. There's no need to sit in front of your computer. You can actually stand up, walk around. Obviously, it depends on how far you're walking around. If you've got audio, a microphone, you've got a headset so everyone can hear you. If you're just using your computer, you've got to be careful because if you go too far back and you're using the microphone from the computer, we're not going to be able to hear you. But I like the idea of moving around. It helps emphasize your speech. You can get some hand movements in there and gestures. I just like the idea of being able to move around. The second piece, and I'm probably nitpicking a little bit here. You had mentioned the sandwich effect. I love the sandwich effect when you are giving an evaluation. I just wish you had gotten into detail about what the sandwich effect is. So it's a positive area, excuse me, a positive point, area of improvement, and then followed by another positive area. But I love if anytime you can squeeze in the sandwich effect and help for evaluations. I love that. So I just wish you had described a little bit about the sandwich effect. Outside of that, you can clearly show your passion for Toastmasters and accomplishing this pathway was a labor of love that you grasped. You took it outside the box and you really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to hearing for some more pathway speeches from you. Great job.
Wow. Distinguished Toastmaster Vince, that was a very thorough evaluation with so many taking points. I'm writing my notes down, and this is so helpful for many of my speech in the future. I really appreciate sharing that and picking up the little things and also sharing the best practices that will help improve all of our speeches. So that was a wonderful evaluation round. And before we go into the reports, I'd like to kind of wrap up what I was, as you can see, we were all on a journey. And our journey in the past could be a single step of signing up for Toastmaster or, starting something new. Back to my journey of deciding to start running was my journey to better health. And that indeed, over time, starting out with not even running half a mile was my journey. And I increased it very little by starting a running program. Rather than just doing it on my own, I go on the internet, search for a running program, and train for something that I thought it might not be possible for me. That was just a half marathon. After I completed a half marathon, now my brain has opened up to a new world I said, maybe I can do a marathon. Well, dear fellow Toastmaster, I'm so proud to wear a shirt here. This is the shirt that I wear. I completed my first marathon of 26 miles or 42 kilometers. And this journey would not have happened if I never taken the first step. Well, now into my running career, I have achieved goals that I would never even fathom, which is an ultra marathon, which I have done last year of 50 miles. So I want to encourage you guys to come out to take that first step, whether it's playing tennis, playing pickleball, which appears to be like taking the world, or at least in America, take America by storm. Do something for 30 minutes, 5 times a day. You will see the significant improvement in your health. Now, some of you might say, I'm already doing that. Well, that's great. Kudos to you. Well, here's the chance to make a difference in somebody else's life, because there's actually studies to show that the social cognitive theory, if you are out there doing something better for your health or whatever it is, out running, out playing pickleball, playing tennis, whatever it is, you actually help other people to motivate them to be active and to follow your journey. Now, I would like to encourage you to take on a challenge that is bring your friend, bring your buddy, who you think that can benefit from better health. Just one person. You can make a difference. If you already made a difference in your life, I challenge you to make a difference in one other person in their life. So this is where you will see within a year the healthy you or the healthy you and your buddy, and you will make a major impact in the world just from improving your own health. Now we're going back to our regular programming for the report. So I'd like to call upon our president again for our grammarian report, distinguished Toastmaster Catherine Opondo. Catherine?
Thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Bowie. You called me distinguished Toastmaster. I am about to become one. I look forward to the day when I will celebrate that soon. My role today was both accountant and grammarian. So I will start with the role of the accountant. Today, I would like to congratulate the following people for being steadfast in their delivery as they spoke to us. Prashant, Dr. Stephen Bowie, DTM Nur Mohammed, Toastmaster Guillermo, and D. Marisha King. When I say that, I would like to say that they were steadfast, they made effort, they were conscious. But some of the words that were commonly used today as pause fillers were and I would like to request Vince to take note of that. You know, Todd, like, so, and. Again, DTM Vince, Vandana, please take note of the words so and. And also Dr. Stephen Bowie, again, I would like you to take note of the word so. So that's my report from the accountant role. I would like now to move on to the role of the grammarian. And today, the crown of the word of the day goes to D. Marisha King. Will you please give her a round of applause for using peripatetic very well? Thank you so much, D. Marisha King. Great use of the English language. The grammarians, or I would like to say the people that really gave us a run for our money, were Teresa, D. Marie, Dr. Stephen Bowie, DTM Nur Mohammed, Guillermo James, and Todd Gatien. So now I would like to share just some small words that were very, very, very beautiful to hear. From Prashant, we heard speech impediment, unconventional methods. Great communicators, great speakers communicate, but great communicators are the leaders. From Praveen, we had common knowledge, make a conscious effort. Praveen also used as of now. From Vandana, we heard aspire to change. She also used the common proverb, it takes a village. She used it in her own way, and that was almost owning the word. Span of 1 year. What I learned the most. She also shared with us something that is commonly said as Toastmasters, which is practice at Toastmasters gets results in real life. Some of the other words that we had were from D. Marie Shai King, where she said to Praveen, take a breath. And then she repeated, take a deep breath. And then to crown it, I heard from DTM Vince, labor of love. What could we work on as English speakers? I would like to recommend to Prashant to use, instead of everything what we do, use in everything that we do. Also, instead of different than, I would recommend different from. And then to Vandana, I would recommend that you pay attention to filling in the prepositions in your sentences. For example, I went to the market, or I went the market. So I would recommend to pay attention to your prepositions so that when we listen to you, we feel the completion of your sentences. I would like to hand over the podium back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be your grammarian and your accountant.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for your report. Very, very detailed report. I really appreciate that. And let's see how we do with our timing. And I'd like to call Dr. Mary Thomas to give us a report on our timing. Dr. Mary Thomas.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. I'll make this quick. Our speaker 1, Prasant, 7 minutes, 57 seconds. That's overshot. Toastmaster Praveen, speaker number 2, 7 minutes, 20 seconds. Toastmaster Vandana, 12 minutes, 25 seconds. When it comes to the table topics, Guillermo, 1 minute 40. D. Marie, 2 minutes, 1 second. Arvin, 2 minutes, 18. Todd, 3 minutes, 3 seconds. Well, you had a lot to tell us, and we really liked listening to you. Aman, 2 minutes, 26 seconds. Trisha, 1 minute, 33 seconds. Vincent, 2 minutes, 47 seconds. For the evaluators, evaluator 1, 3 minutes, 14 seconds. DeMarie, 2 minutes, 32 seconds. Vince, 5 minutes, 14 seconds. Justified for a reflect your path speech. Grammarian, 4 minutes, 10 seconds. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mary, for the detailed report. And indeed, we did go over in some of the section, but I really, I look forward to our Toastmaster meeting because those extra time really add value to our meeting. Now, before we leave, I'd like to challenge you all to literally take our theme in stride. And what I mean by that is truly a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single steps. So let's go out there and show the world and take that first step. And I want to see you back in 1 year, the healthier you, or to bring that your friend, your buddy, to push them into a healthier them. So back to you, our president, Catherine Opando.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Stephen Bowie, Toastmasters and guests. What a wonderful, wonderful, befitting Toastmasters meeting. I feel invigorated. I hope you do the same way we did. But Dr. Stephen Bowie, thank you so much. Do you want to ask Dr. Stephen some questions about his journey? Because I'm curious to find out. Did he beat the pre-diabetic condition? Has he
Not only
tested
I
and
beat,
seen?
yeah, thank you for asking that question. Not only I beat the pre-diabetic conditions, now I'm healthier than when I was in my 20s. I was able to do things a lot faster and go a lot longer than when I was in my 20s. And now I'm in my 50s, actually coming toward my late 50s. And I was told that I don't look a day over 45. So I really I find that my journey has helped me to become who I am today. And not only the physical being, because there's a component of the mental being. When you perform physical activities, there's a term neuroplasticity that being tossed around, how your body, your brain changes when you improve your health and your well-being. And so physical activity actually and also improve our mental capacity. And maybe Dr. Mary Thomas is a professional, maybe you can share your opinion on that. What's your thoughts?
Dr. Mary, please.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Dr. Stephen Boy has said. I'm very much on the path of transformation of health by transforming lifestyle diseases and also opting for the natural methods where our body will naturally heal ourselves. I'm really big on that. So when he talks about walking, when he talks about movement, when he talks about taking those first few steps, really it does make a difference. I mean, for me, if I see Stephen, I know straight away he's not his diabetic condition or pre-diabetes that he definitely is not. We can see people who are diabetic, really. So when he says he came out of it, of course he did. It's very obvious. You see, he's lean. See, when we look at someone, we know whether they have metabolic syndrome or diabetic conditions or there's excess glucose in the body by looking at the way the fat cells, the adipocytes, go into the body, you know, it goes into the belly, it goes into the thighs, it goes into the jawline. You see someone, you would know straight away what medical conditions they have. And Stephen definitely has beaten them, for sure. Any further questions?
Teresa, don't crucify yourself yet. I'm just making fun. But thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Bowie and Dr. Mary, for sharing those lessons. We really are truly inspired. And I look forward to learning more from you, and all of us will look forward to learning from you. I hope the Toastmasters and guests, you had a wonderful time. I think this was a great meeting. It was great for our bodies, great for our souls, great for our minds. I really want to thank you. And I would like to ask if any of you would like to speak or to let us know how you got to know, how you came to the meeting, especially our guests, Prashant, Vince, Todd, Praveen, Vincent, Aman, and Vandana. We would like to hear from you. Please unmute and let us know how you loved the meeting.
Thanks, Catherine. First of all, it's great to be here in an online meeting. It's my first time attending such an early morning meeting. It's actually, I started at 7 a.m. and it's about close to 9 a.m. in India. I had committed to my club that I'm going to complete certain pathway projects by certain milestones. And I'm very grateful for my VPE and my president that I think they searched and found me some slots. So that's why I think they asked me and said, hey, there's a very early morning slot in another district. Are you okay? And I said, absolutely fine. Meaning it doesn't matter to me which part of the world I'm going to, because at the end of the day, I see the fantastic learnings which we all have, right? I've been in Toastmasters for about 5 years, so I can absolutely resonate to every speaker who talked and amplified their learnings and their experiences. It was such a pleasure to start my day on such a beautiful note. I don't know whether this is a regular time, but if so, then I'll try my best to wake up at 6:30 and join at 7 a.m. and start my day very wonderfully. But thank you for having me here. 3 lovely speeches and fantastic table topics. I absolutely loved today. right? And you can see the energy in me because I'm just smiling end to end for such a fantastic session today.
Thank you so much, Prasanth. Thank you so much. Aman, Vince, Todd, Vincent, please unmute yourselves and speak to.
So I love the theme. And I've been thinking about this, and I know some people had put in the chat Atomic Habit, which is a great book. I just read that 2 months ago. So I made a New Year's resolution to read 1 book a month. I don't read that much. I'm trying to overcome that. So I decided for my New Year's resolution to read a book a month. And luckily we're on the 4th month. I'm on my 4th book. So I'm giving myself a pat on the back. But getting back to similar to what Dr. Stephen had said, I'm assuming, or perhaps you have not, have you read a book called The Compound Effect? And the compound effect is every small piece you take here, and it's very similar to the atomic. Oh my God, I just drew a blank on the book we just talked about, Atomic Habit. Every small piece you take here has a lasting effect here. So let's just say you go to Starbucks every Friday and you spend $5 for Starbucks. Instead of going to Starbucks every Friday, you put that $5 into an account. By the end of the year, you have 5 times $52 is. So when you were saying something about walking, I did the same thing, very similar. And I'm not a runner. I try and walk as much as I can. I went on what's called a weight loss journey where I couldn't walk that much. I just didn't have any interest. But I started walking a couple blocks turned into 1/10 of a mile. 1/10 of a mile turned into 2/10 of a mile, and so on and so on and so forth, until I was able to do a mile and continue going. It also changes your, your eating habit, and it also, the book also described track everything you eat, because diet and exercise, because similar to you, I was pre-diabetic, and it kind of puts a shock to your system because you think you're invincible when you are in fact not. So reading this book, it really transformed me to help me lose a significant amount of weight, to not become pre-diabetic anymore. But it's called the compound effect, and it's anything in life, for any kind of journey, whatever your journey may be. Small steps. Don't have to take it. You don't have to attack it right away. You have to have patience, because you're taking these small, tiny steps. They eventually add up. And Dr. Stephen, exactly what you just said. If you start now, come back this time next year, you're going to see a significant change. So I love the theme.
Thank you
And
so
thank
much.
you very
Vince.
much, Toastmaster Noor, for sending us those books. If you look into our chat, there's attached the books that everyone was talking about, a copy of that. And Vince, I'm glad you recommend that book, because that's the next book that I'm going to read. So thank you.
So here's the good thing too. It's an easy read. It's a small, easy read book, but it hits home. And it's very, if you read Atomic Habits, you're going to see a lot of similarities in that the a compound effect is it's just every small piece you do, again, small piece here, lasting effect here. Now, obviously, same with the negative. If you start eating McDonald's French fries every Friday, you're it goes the opposite way too. So every bad habit you have, if you continue on that bad habit, then, but obviously you want to stay on the point of positivity and, get healthy. Or save money. If you're trying to save money, here's the best way to save money. Or if you're trying to, start small and just in increments, and you'll realize after a certain point of time. But it was a wonderful book, and that's what changed me led me on my weight loss journey. I didn't mean to monopolize the whole conversation. Sorry. Like I said, I just absolutely loved the theme, and that theme just hit home when you started talking about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I lived through this theme, and it gives you bragging rights. I mean, you
Thank you so much, Vince. That was very, very helpful. I have downloaded the books. We're definitely going to start. Todd, please take to the podium.
Thank you very much, Madam Ranking Officer, fellow Toastmasters and friends. So they call me a Toastaholic. I'm in 5 different clubs in 5 different districts, and 2 weeks ago I topped over my 1,000th club around the world that I visited. So you're probably in the 1,010 area by now, because I do about 2 or 3 clubs a day. So I always believe that Toastmasters works when Toastmasters works, and a nice full room like you guys had today really has a certain energy and excitement to it. And it's neat that the theme with the Toastmaster with the little interspersed parts is pretty cool, keeping it going and keeping it on point. I also believe in the first lady president of the organization named Helen Blanchard, who said, if you ever get out of Toastmasters, all there is to get out of Toastmasters, you'll never get out of Toastmasters. That's probably why I've been around for like 26, 27 years. If I was to share a couple of best practices, number 1 would be that the timer, if they raise their hand like I raised my hand, that would put them in the top left corner of my screen, or everybody's screen is at the top, so that when you're looking for the timer while you're in whatever mode, you might find it a little quicker. Number 2, I see that you guys use the real estate around your name to tell you what position you're doing. Anybody who has like DTM or doctor or PhD or whatever, if you put those in your name title as well, if you have a guest or a visitor, and I always say a guest is a fresh meat person to your club, and a visitor is always a Toastmaster who visits your club. Toastmaster may join your club, but usually does magic in your room and disappears at the end. Guest may be converted to a member. So they don't know who each other is and what you are, but if they're looking for a mentor or they're looking for their coach, titles sometimes breed that kind of, oh, this is street cred. This is a person who's worthy to be my mentor. So if you put that in your name, it sometimes might attract more people to sign up and become a member. Number 3 was, in your participants list, I noticed that you have a co-host and 1 host. And we did see that Stephen dropped out. So it would be a good idea to keep a 2nd or 3rd co-host online, just in case there is internet bugs and or Zoom bombers. That way you can create all those guys and put them in the breakout room or kick them out, whatever you need to do. The other part was, in between your speeches, you guys read really quickly from one speaker to the next speaker. In many clubs, they offer anywhere from like 45 seconds to 2 minutes of time, so the other members of the group have an opportunity to write comments in the chat to the speaker. The problem with that is, if nobody saves the chat because they don't know where it is or they don't do it, it disappears at the end, and it feels like that little piece of paper we used to have in the real world. A lot of clubs are now doing, you're the speaker, you want feedback, you as the speaker need to put your email in the chat. That allows members, guests, or visitors to reach out to you, because now they have a way of communicating with you, and you as the speaker have authorized them to contact you because you are looking for feedback. So it's just a way that you can get more observation points for your evaluations, for your personal growth. And also sometimes, I might be sleeping and all of a sudden I go, man, that guy, who was it? Oh, it was Parsat. How do I get a hold of him now? Oh, well, too bad. So just some ideas that might bring your club from good to great. So thanks for having me. I had a lot of time, a lot of fun. You didn't waste my time. Thanks.
A round of applause to Todd. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the invaluable advice that you've given to us. We appreciate it. Next, we have Vincent, we have Teresa, we have Aman, we have Praveen. Please speak to us.
Okay, then I speak first. For the Toastmasters, this is, I think, the 3rd time or 4th time I forgot. Yeah, so far, Toastmasters is the club is great as usual. I I found out that it involves all of the guests. So no guests have to like passive just watching the video or just watching the meeting. That's all. The Toastmaster participator also involve the guests to pursue themselves to speak, no matter what the pronunciation is, accent, or what kind of answers or idea. At least they try to speak. That's all. Yeah, I know also that Toastmaster is the Toastmaster. In order to be able to do communication, is not like just an instance. It needs to step by step, because Toastmasters is like a gymnastics. So you have to involve yourself, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I don't know, because different people every people has their own limitations, abilities, strengths, and weakness. Yeah, so Toastmasters, yeah, it's great as usual. For the book, I want to reference because this theme is about, like, how to make life better and better. Unfortunately, there's reference that I want to share to you. It's called, sorry, I cannot find the PDF, but it's the summary. It's called The Courage to be Disliked. Because whenever we want to be a good communicator, we cannot satisfy all of the audience. There must be someone, or maybe a lot of people who don't like our idea. So yeah, I think it's a great recommendation for me to you guys to read the book. I think that's all.
Thank you so much, Vincent. Thank you so much. Teresa has shared a book called The Courage to be Disliked, right? Is it a book?
That's what
Yes,
Vince
it's a book.
referenced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank
It's
you
a
so much.
Japanese style book.
Thank you so much. Aman, do you want to say something? Vandana, Teresa?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Special thanks to Mary, last minute accommodating my speech, because I just communicated with her, I think a day or two back, and she immediately responded. And it was wonderful attending this meeting. Thoroughly enjoyed, especially all the table topics that we had by DTM Noor Muhammad. And of course, special thanks to my evaluator as well, DTM Vince. Thanks a lot, and thoroughly loved the meeting. If there are any more online meetings, please let me know, Toastmaster Mary. I would love to attend. I'm here for next 2 weeks. I'm with my daughter here in Castro Valley. So next 2 weeks, I would like to give my 2 more speeches in the next pathway. So it would be great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Fernanda? Can we hear from Teresa or Praveen or Aman?
Hi, everybody. This is my second time attending this meeting, and I really enjoyed it. I think that while there's guests that come just to give longer speeches, I see the value of coming back over and over again. So I've been kind of in the DMs hoping other people will join me in joining this club, and so I look forward to being a member and a contributor to this club. And thank you so much. My goal is to be an accredited speaker, and I'm actually on that path for doing that this year. And I have been, like Todd, I've been visiting several clubs. I've probably visited 30 different clubs since January. So it's been really fun. But the standard that this one has about being very high and giving great feedback, I really appreciate it. And Stephen, Mary, your great leadership. And I'm really looking forward to being on the journey with you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Thank you so much. Aman, anybody else? Our time is up, but I really would like to hear from every speaker, every visitor. Yes, Praveen.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for having me here. It was an insightful session for me, as I have received a lot of helpful feedback. So thanks to all. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you for inspiring us, Praveen. We really appreciate you. Please come again. Yes, Aman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all for having me here. So it's my, I think it's for my third session here. So before my first session was before some that time I was not able to join, but now today's session was really good, and this is it is very inspiring to be here every time. Then previous session was also really inspiring for me, and the recommendation I got from here, the people like all the books recommendations, and then Vincent, that one book recommendation by him. So I started reading that book. I have that physical book also, physical copy of that book. So that is a really good book, I would say. And Atomic Habit, that is also I have completed like 3 months ago. And always being here is like it's like family, so everyone advise us as what they have learned from their experience. And like Stephen is also uh, very inspiring about being about their maintaining our physical health. And so I also like I used to like running, so I am totally can connect with him what advice he give. So yeah, thank you everyone for this wonderful session.
Thank you so much, Aman. Todd, your hand is still up. Would you like to say something? Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Bowie. And I would like to thank our club officers, Dr. Mary Thomas and Biloma James, for the hard work that you put in. And thank you so much, DTM Nuru, for inspiring us. Goodbye, everybody. This meeting is now adjourned.